Here's another podcast from the Pod Bros Network.
What's happening, everyone? It is your favorite podcasters, Jeff and John, with another episode of the John Pod Van Dam Cast. Woo! In Wyandotte, Michigan. Sunny, beautiful Wyandotte.
Hell yeah.
This episode isn't sunny and beautiful, though. Let's get serious here. So we ultimately decided that even though we would still love to be doing 6 Degrees of Van Dam and whatnot, Jeff and I have a lot of projects going on.
Yes.
I had recently sent out on Twitter, we hadn't released anything soon because we were working on Paint the Canvas with Damon and Kaz from the Accidental Wrestling Fan. Paint the Canvas was a wrestling event that we held at the Downriver Council for the Arts, the building that we're in. And it was a benefit show for the DCA, which is a nonprofit. In case those listening want to know a little bit more, you can check it out. I think downriverarts.org. Learn more about them. The show was a success, so much so we were able to make money to give to them to pay the workers, and still had money to give to the DCA, which is pretty awesome. If you ask me,
very amazing. I couldn't believe the reception that we received.
Yeah, right. We had a whole new crowd of people that had never watched a wrestling event before in their life, and we did it well. We enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. Everyone had a good time.
Very terrifying and exhilarating.
Yes, yeah, very much so, which that kind of leads us into this and the reason why we're having this episode discussion today. We were only going to do one, and if it did okay, we were going to do 1 a year or 2 a year maybe at the DCA, but everyone loved it so much that people asked us when our next event was, and so we ultimately agreed we're either going to do 2 a year or 4 a year. And so we decided, well, if we're going to do that, we got to put some projects on hold of what we're doing, because on top of that, not only, as you already know, Jeff is also a part of Kapowcast. Jeff and I have a million different podcasts on the Pod Bros Network. And Kapowcast and themselves, with Tony and Mike, have been doing some great stuff over there. That also includes expanding their own brand, and Jeff's a part of that as well. And that means not only just doing podcasts, but doing videos. And so that takes up time as well, on top of us both working full-time and whatnot. It's hard. It's hard to do a lot of this. And so we realized, well, as much as we love Jean Pod Van Dam Cast, we're pretty much at the end of it until JCVD comes out with another film.
Yeah, I mean, 6 Degrees is fun and all, but it's not exactly in the spirit of our original intention for this podcast.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It just feels like filler, you know?
It does. It does feel like filler, and I think it would be a great action podcast on its own. If we just did something and made it, but we also are doing Every Damn Wrestling and Rage in a Cage, which are kind of our sequels to Jean Pod Van Dam Cast. And even though those haven't come out yet, we're still recording those, because ultimately what we want to do is we want to record a bunch of those, and that way we have filler. So when we're doing these other projects, those can go on and we can still have updates instead of us recording and then a new one doesn't come out until 3 weeks later or whatnot, which is ultimately what's happening with Damcast here. And so we just said, hey, you know what? We're going to still have Damcast. We're going to keep all the old original episodes up. What we want to do is we're just going to wait for the next Van Damme film that comes out. So essentially we've reached that point where we're like, hey, you know what? Unless something big happens in the news with Van Damme, then we'll do like probably a mini episode saying, hey, you know, this is what Van Damme's doing. Here's some of the current events. Other than that, we're just going to wait for another Van Damme film to come out, and then we're going to review that.
In the meantime, we will be focusing more on our Patreon exclusive content, so our Patreon patrons can get excited for that, because we will be having more content in the not-too-distant future.
Yes, exactly. We are going to really be focusing on that. If you are a patron, you already know our super secret episode and what that's about. You're going to see a little bit more on stuff like that, plus some additional bonus stuff. And that's our way of saying thank you to you that have kept around, that have supported us. Even if you stop supporting us now, after a certain amount of time, we're still going to give you that bonus content just as a thank you for supporting us. Because let's be honest, Damcast is pretty much one of the highest supported shows on Patreon for us.
Yes.
And we can't thank you enough for that. And that's why we want to kind of give back. If you continue and we decide to do like the Rage in a Cage and a Kurt Russell, the Every Damn Rustling tiers on Patreon, and if you're interested, I would love to give you the bonus stuff that we do on that for free without having to do any added. But I mean, that is if people continue to support us through Damcast or they switch over to the other tier. But for those, even if you stop, we know who you are. We want to.
That's not a threat.
That's not a threat. That's a thank you saying, hey, all this time, but
unless you stop,
give you that bonus.
then it might
stuff.
be a threat.
Yeah. Then we'll try to entice you. Please come back. But no, Jeff
know
is
who
right.
you are.
Yeah, we are going to be concentrating on that sort of thing. Unfortunately, maybe I don't know if I've mentioned it on here. Our Amazon affiliate program, Amazon put the kibosh on us. They said too many people were friends and family, and so that violated their
Everyone
agreement.
who loves Jean-Claude Van Damme is a member of a family.
Yeah, I know. You're a part of our Van Damme family, and apparently that violates the Amazon agreement.
You know what? So be it.
So be it. I'd rather have the Van Damme family than not at all. And so we lost them. We lost Amazon as an affiliate, and that was a good chunk of what helped pay for our studio and whatnot. So we're trying other things to help try to get money again. So we just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone. Damcast is not ending by any means whatsoever. It is still going strong, and I'm really happy about it. I'm not going to pull the bull of, hey, here's a rewind episode, because there's only 100 episodes. I mean, if we had like over 300 episodes, maybe I'd be like, here's a classic. We're playing it classic again until the next one comes around. But we're going to keep it as is. Like I said, current events will update. If Van Damme comes out with any new commercials or anything like that, if he's in the news or anything like that, we'll post these like mini episodes. But we're going to wait for Van Damme and his film to come out. On top of that, if you still want to catch all the action with Jeff and me, I will be very soon posting the Every Damn Rustling and Rage in a Cage. And I think you guys will really enjoy that. It's kind of in the same vein. We don't get thoroughly into the movies like we do with Van Damme, so we try to keep those a little bit shorter, but on the same page, though, it's the same fun wackiness that you hear on here between the banter between Jeff and myself.
It is a lot of fun.
So we enjoy doing that. We're going to continue to do that. And all the meanwhile as well, check us out if you just enjoy us and who we are. The Accidental Wrestling Fan, there's that. I'm personally myself, I'm taking the network and kind of doing this reevaluation of things, seeing what we should just basically say goodbye to and what needs to keep going. And that includes some of the shows that I've done in the past. Now I'm just saying kind of goodbye to, but also doing some other projects as well. I'm getting involved with a short horror film. Jeff is peeling the sticker off one of my mic stands. He's very big into that.
I am against product placement.
Yeah, big time.
Not a brand name person. They're adhesive bandages, not Band-Aids.
Thank you. As a guy with the trademark background, we say thank you for that. No, don't turn our marks into genericide. So. Yeah, and check Jeff out with Kapowcast too. The videos, I'm like the stepchild of Kapowcast. I come on every once in a while.
You're like the Brock Lesnar.
I was going to say Mike lovingly referred me to the Brock Lesnar and then said, they think it's good for the show, but the fans really don't like it, and I tend to agree. Though the Dark Phoenix episode got some great ratings on it. I heard. So I attribute that to me and my love-hate relationship with Robert Kirkman. So my random ass rant about The Walking Dead.
It was great.
So check that out as well.
I too have a love-hate relationship with Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
It's more physical than yours, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you guys have a safe word and everything.
Yeah, it's a very angry, sexual love-hate relationship.
Right? Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Just stay tuned. If you like what we do, just the Pod Bros in general, There's going to be some fun stuff. Jeff and I have been doing bone apple tea as well on YouTube. That's our YouTube series. In case you need an explanation, not only is it about horrible food combinations, but we try to give it as basic of a look as possible, which is, part of the joke. So that's not only are we doing horrible things with food, but we're also doing horrible things with production on it.
Yep.
And that's the whole reason why. So anyway, other than that, thank you so much. Oh God. Jeff not only takes stickers off things, he puts them on other things. So that's going to be great when I have to take that off.
This immaculate sink.
Yep. It's a strong sink. I'll give you that much.
Samsonite.
Yeah. I was
Started
way
with an
off.
S.
So thank you again, and truly appreciate everything. Be on the lookout. That's it. I'm John,
And I am Jeff.
and you've been listening to another episode, but not the last episode of the John Pod Van Dam Cast.